Come on now. Y'all already know what this is. First things first, God did this. Don't get mad with us. I'm your humble host, your man, your myth, your legend, Eric Knight, and we got the one man and the only man that's going to check into the Heartbreak Hotel. That's Heartbreak Prince himself. Look, oh, it wouldn't be an episode if we didn't have my man Zach to let us know what the national day is. And surprisingly, today's National Trick or Treat Day, which I would have thought would have been Halloween, but that ain't the day yet. That is today, which is Trick or Treat Days. We appreciate that, Zach, as always, man.
What up, Zach? Thanks for the natural day again, as always.
That boy is, man, he's on it. He's on it as always. Man, look, I ain't gonna lie. This week of, WWE has not been that bad. I'm not gonna lie, especially with NXT. Sean, you cook up as always. But, honestly, Raw and SmackDown having a few things, and of course we know how the injuries went, wasn't too bad. They made some adjustments and not too upset about it. But let's go ahead and start it off with the 2 hours and 30 minutes of fire. Well, Monday Night Raw, baby. And I ain't gonna lie. Raw was something else. This is my thing. You got to think about it, man. This was a lot that was going on. Okay, that happened. That this happened a lot with, especially with Big Jim, man. I ain't even gonna lie. The reason why this episode is really specifically called Justice for Big Jim, because look, Big Jim has been getting the short end of the stick, for way too long. And we're all sick of it. And honestly, I ain't gonna lie. Jim, look, we behind you, man. And And I know Naomi is. Of course she is, because she at the house. She got a baby that's on the way. So, at this point, let's go ahead and just talk about how we started it off. Okay. They kicked it off with Adam Pearce. All right. He was out there, telling everybody that they have to vacate the World Heavyweight Championship, of course, because Seth Rollins is injured with a shoulder injury, got surgery. So you know how that is with that. Okay. So then, you know how it was, the vision, which it's kind of crazy now because, of course, we know since everything's had to kind of get sped up, things have happened. This is kind of like 6 months in advance that we're kind of seeing this storyline, of course. But seeing this happen, I was like, you know what? I don't mind seeing Braun Breaker with this title. Looks good. But at the same time, he comes out, has to give the title to Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce tells him to hand it over. Adam Pearce is like, hey, come on, just hand it over. Braun Breaker says, say please. Okay, demands that Adam Pearce says please. Adam Pearce does. Then to that point, Paul Heyman it's crazy because Braun Breaker hands the title to Paul Heyman to give to Adam Pearce. And of course, you see how that happens. But of course, then that initiates a battle royal, okay, at the end of Monday Night Raw. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But then, of course, that led to Paul Heyman, okay, talking about Braun Breaker, talking about Bronson Tsunami Reed, which was crazy because after that, they really wanted to talk about mainly. He said that Braun Breaker is WrestleMania worthy right now. He's a WrestleMania main eventer right here. And so is Bronson Tsunami Reed. I said, you know what, Paul, if you ain't going to hype up anybody, you going to hype up the next big Nepo baby. And that's exactly what he did. I liked it. This was good. But then we flash forward, something that was really important. Okay, something that was actually a pretty damn shock. Okay, AJ Styles, okay, and Dragon Lee beating the Judgment Day to win the World Tag Team titles. What the hell? Now, look, I ain't gonna lie. I guess, we know this is AJ Styles' last run. And honestly, since that was the case, I said, okay, I guess we're getting the retirement started early, huh? We're gonna get my man AJ Styles Tag Team titles. All right. And Loki a little bit better than John Cena's, but let's see how that goes. But that was a little interesting. Because then after that, we flash forward to even the Judgment Day losing the tag titles. Dirty Dom ain't going to be that same, man. Nah, not Dirty Dom, okay? Dirty Dom doing Dirty Dom things, okay? Rusev seeing the hammer, all right, in Dirty Dom's boot. Dirty Dom, okay, causing that distraction. The ref grabs the hammer, walks back. Dirty Dom kicks Rusev. Classic. I mean, honestly, this is classic. I see why he's the greatest Mysterio and the greatest Guerrero of all time. Okay. Hits Rusev with the low blow, hits him with a 619, then a frog splash, and honestly gets the dub and defends his title. And Dirty Dom is still the double champ. Man, stop playing with that man, man. He's the greatest of all time. Then we flash forward to Becky Lynch and Maxine Dupree. Now, honestly, this ended in a DQ. All right, to the point. Honestly, Maxine was doing a thing. Now, mind you, they were in the hometown. Okay, for Maxine. Okay, it was in Sacramento. Okay, they was going crazy. They was going insane for her. So the crowd is into it. I was into it, and I mean, honestly, you would have thought the way Maxine was wrestling. I said, damn. Who is this? Chad, man. Okay. Great stuff from Maxine, but honestly, ended in a DQ. Becky Lynch hitting Maxine Dupree with the title, and honestly, at that point, just doing a whole attack to the point. After that, Becky Lynch sees Paul Heyman backstage. And Paul Heyman tries to sell a whole thing. He tries to say, look, if you join the vision, you will be all right. You could be okay. You ain't gotta worry about nothing. Becky said, you ain't gotta worry about me joining nothing that you got going on. I wouldn't do it for anything. And Seth already knew you was gonna do this, but just know when he comes back, and when he does, he's gonna kill everybody. I said, man, come on, stop playing with Seth. But this was interesting. Okay, you know how it is with the man. You know how it is, man. She kills it. Then we flash forward to La Primera. Okay. Stephanie Vaquer beating Roxanne Perez. Now, honestly, this was a great match. You know how it is with Stephanie Vaquer. I ain't gonna lie. At the end, though, I see a little bit of a limp from Stephanie Vaquer. I'm hoping she's good. I'm hoping it was just a sell, but I was a little concerned. But honestly, after that match, Roxanne Perez and Raquel attacking Stephanie Vaquer. I mean, beating the hell out of her. I said, damn, I mean, we're going to do this. I mean, you surely just had a whole match. But, of course, I'm thinking, who would come out and help Stephanie Vaquer? Not Rhea, not Io, not anybody I would have thought. But you can look, but you can't touch. I don't know why. Nikki Bella, all right? Hey, it is what it is. So, yeah, we get Nikki Bella. She helps Roxanne Perez. And honestly, I said, all right. But that led to a segment backstage where Nikki Bella was telling Stephanie Vaquer, you got to watch your back. You never know who's watching you, you're such a target. So always make sure you got somebody watching your back. I'm going to tell you right now, Nikki Bella, if you're trying to get yourself a title opportunity, keep it pushing. I'm not trying to see that. All right. Then we flash forward to this battle royal. Now, I ain't gonna lie, this battle royal is all over the place, man. Look, we had everybody and anybody up in this. We had AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. Like, these men didn't just win the tag team titles, okay, earlier in the night. All right, Dirty Dom was in it. Like, he didn't just defend his titles, his title earlier that night. I said, well, what is going on here? All right, but again, chaotic. Big Jim helping Jay, okay? Helps Jay 2 times, damn near 3 times. Okay, brings him back in. Then after that, AJ Styles had jumped in, try to hit a phenomenal forearm. They both do a double super kick. I ain't gonna lie, if the Young Bucks did, it looked a little bit better because you know how it is for the Bucks. That's a whole nother story. All right. Then after that, they eliminate AJ Styles, and it gets to the point where it's Jimmy getting ready to eliminate LA Knight. And by the way, I'm not even loving how you're doing my mans anyway. And I'm gonna talk about that for a whole nother day. But then it's to the point where Big Jim, LA Knight are stuck, and Jay's gonna sit here and toss LA Knight and his own brother, the big brother, Big Jim, out the ring. And then it was him and Dirty Dom, and Jay eliminates Dirty Dom. And now it's going to be Jay Uso and CM Punk at Saturday Night's main event. And you see how Big Jim's looking. This is ridiculous. And this is the finish right here. I would have been a person that would have appreciated seeing a new matchup. Like, I didn't just see CM Punk and Jey Uso a while ago. Okay, look, look, I say justice for Big Jim for a lot of reasons. Okay, Jimmy needs something. How the hell everybody else? Naomi gets a title, and I ain't even mad at Naomi. Come on, proceed with caution. Stop playing. But Naomi gets one, and I thought it was hilarious even when Drew McIntyre talked about it on SmackDown. We're gonna talk about that later. But I thought it was crazy. Everybody else gets a title. Big Jim, no title. Every time coming close, but yet no cigar. I'm sick of this. Y'all keep doing that, and I'm rooting for Big Jim. I'm hoping Big Jim gets the dub, gets the title. This is ridiculous, man. Look, Jay, you foul. I ain't gonna lie, man. That's foul, man. Your brother held you down that whole battle royal. He should have just let your ass just fall out the first time, the second time, almost the third time. Ridiculous. But I mean, besides that, Dirty Dom, you killed it. I love what he's doing with this, man. I mean, honestly, the greatest Mysterio of all time, the greatest Guerrero of all time, the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, the greatest Luchador of all time. That's Dirty Dom. He's got it, man. He's killing it. And the crowd's loving it. I mean, the whole thing with him in the Judgment Day is pretty interesting to me, though, man. I mean, and then again, what the hell? Judgment Day losing the tag titles. I mean, if it's not titles changing hands or titles being vacated, this was a very interesting Raw. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't too bad about this. It was pretty solid. I liked what was going on. Everything with Stephanie Vacate and Roxanne Perez. Loved that match, by the way, too. They killed it. Please, let's keep going with that. I would rather see Roxanne and Stephanie Vacate in the ring at a PLE than Nikki Bella and Roxanne Perez. Or, just please, no Nikki Bella. That's all I ask. That is all I pray for. And if I was Drew McIntyre, I'd pray for that miracle. Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Overall, Raw was a good show. Especially because for me, the highlight of it was Dirty Dom, and kind of how they booked him throughout the show, even down to being the last person in the Battle Royal with Jay before going over. And I applaud Dirty Dom for how far he's come over the last year and a half, because there was a point in time where this man couldn't say a word on the mic for 2 years. Every time he opened his mouth, the crowd would boo him, and he'd almost have to get other members of the Judgment Day to speak for him just so he could get his promo across, because the crowd would boo him that much. And now he's just been so diabolical, just all the way around, that he has crossed the line over into the blessings, into the grace of the fandom, and they live for the moments of the Eddie Guerrero type cheats that he's gonna do throughout a match that helps him to go over. And I mean, honestly, I think it's great. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. The way that they have booked Dirty Dom and what they have done with Dirty Dom over the last year and a half. And, it would not be, honestly, if Dirty Dom had won that Battle Royal to face CM Punk for the championship, I think the crowd would have went nuts. I think they actually would have really enjoyed it and really liked it. And I really do think that WWE has really, catapulted Dirty Dom into stardom with the way they've booked him over the last year. I'm loving watching his matches because I'm always waiting for what is he going to do to overcome some of these obstacles, like a Rusev, and Cierro Miedo. What is he going to do? And he gets it done each and every time, and he's doing it on his own. And that's what I'm enjoying about it, is the fact that we don't have to have the Judgment Day get involved in order to help him go over. He's finding ways to do it, whether it be with the ring bell, hammer, or the low blow, or distracting the ref. And I'm just loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. So hey, I want to give nothing but love and shout outs to Dirty Dom and what he's been doing. I think he's really pushing his ticket into being into that main title picture, just because I think he's one of those old school. He's got that old school heel type of vibe going, where you're used to seeing like the Eddie Guerreros and things that people of that nature do stuff like that to cheat to win, and it's over with the crowd. Braun Breaker does look good with the championship. I can say that, and if he is going to be the future, WrestleMania 46, 47, 48, 49, as Paul Heyman likes to say for Braun Breaker. I do think, this, unfortunate injury to Seth is going to give the leeway for Braun to kind of really break out if the WWE can continue to book him and push him in the way that he need to go. The most disappointing thing about the whole night, well, before I even get to that, let me talk about Becky Lynch and the backstage segment with her and Paul Heyman. I thought that was great as well. That I loved the way that was shot. I love the way that whole promo was delivered. Between the two, and it really does set Seth Rollins up for his return in the future when he comes back. To probably, I don't know if he'll still be healed. It seems like he'll be more of a face coming back, especially after what they've done to him. But I think that has set Seth Rollins up really well for the future. The most disappointing thing of the night for me, which it's understandable, it makes sense. You kind of know why they're doing what they're doing. Is the fact that LA Knight in this opportunity here was not the victor, was not the person that's going to be facing CM Punk for the heavyweight championship. And the reason Jay won is because this belt is going to CM Punk. I mean, there is no question, no doubts about it. This belt is going to CM Punk. CM Punk is going to carry this belt into WrestleMania. And so of course you can't have at least this is my cope, that you can't have LA Knight face him right now. So you got to keep LA Knight strong. You got to keep him booked well. So of course he had to lose this type of match. But Jey Uso is really winning this for the pin, and it's sad to say that. At least that's how I'm seeing this. I also felt like you could have gave this opportunity to Big Jim. You could have gave this opportunity to Dirty Dom. Both of those characters could have taken the pin, and it still would have been okay.
But you could have gave it to LA Knight. Let him have a damn title.
You could have given it to LA Knight, but at the same time, I feel like we've talked about this before with LA Knight being booked, and then at 1 minute he's taking an L, then sometimes he's winning, and it's like, well, what are you really doing with LA Knight? Is he going to be a future champion of WWE? Is he not? Because of the way they've already been booking him. So seeing him go against CM Punk on a Saturday night's main event and take an L, I don't know how I feel about that, especially if LA Knight is going to be like the future star. Like if it's at a PLE type of event, he comes up short, all right. But if you put him on Saturday night's main event and he takes an L, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think I like that idea as far as booking for LA Knight, but that's my thing. It's Saturday night's main event, so Jey Uso is the main event, and so I'm sure that's the reason why they decided to go that route. But I would love to have seen Dirty Dom in this opportunity, honestly, to be honest with you, or like I said, have Big Jim in it. He hasn't had, like you talked about, a singles championship run or anything of that nature. But put him in this, see how he does in a spotlight like this on a one-on-one match for the heavyweight championship. See what he does, see how he handles it, and see if you have something where you could do a story where Jim makes the ascension to the main title picture, and see how the crowd takes it in. I just want opportunities for new talent, to see new people. Like that's why I'm loving what they have been doing with Becky Lynch and
Maxine
Dupree.
Yeah.
Because WWE don't do house shows anymore, like talking about. So you don't really get the opportunities to see some of these other talents within WWE. So seeing Maxine Dupree come out there a couple weeks ago, kind of have her get her feet wet, being on television, wrestling for a championship. She actually, like I said, started off a little rocky, but the match ended up being phenomenal. Then they say, okay, well, we're going to run it back. They have another decent match. The only thing I would say about what with Maxine Dupree that I wish, if she continues to work on, I think that she would be just fine, is sometimes some of her movements look very practiced, very like wait for it, here it comes. Like, oh, I'm gonna do a spinning heel kick or whatever, and it's like very slow, and it also could be because she's so tall and lanky that everything just looks a little. Just I got to make sure I put my boot like where I need to because I could probably kick Becky straight in the head without even trying. So I got to make sure it's low enough to where it's going across her chest. So it's like it's that you could sense that she's thinking about the movement versus just doing it. But outside of that, I think she's actually been doing a pretty decent job. So I've liked seeing stuff like this, and I want to see more of that where we get a big gym involved in the big picture of for the championship and kind of just like this new talent. I don't say new talent, but what I did want to say was fresh meat, but I didn't. I thought that was a little sus. So just get Big Jim involved. That's my thing. I'm gonna leave it there. That's my diatribe on the whole thing. Overall, though, Raw was pretty decent.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was, man. I ain't too mad about it. I think they definitely they have some stuff. But again, we gotta Big Jim needs some, man. We can't keep doing this to my man. But yeah, Dirty Dom, you killed it. You're killing it. But I'm very intrigued as to what's about to happen next with this Judgment Day situation, though, because I don't know. That's another situation where it's kind of like,
It's a good thing I meant to mention that too. Last thing.
Yeah.
I was disappointed in this whole thing when not that Judgment Day lost the titles. I mean, it was about time. I think they said 110 days they had the belt. I don't really remember too many title defenses during that run of reign, but this is another one of those times where we said back when New Day won the titles and then lost like a few weeks later to the Judgment Day to give them the belts. Like, why? Like, what was the purpose? Like, it didn't make sense. They had, the Judgment Day had already had the titles for a period of time. They lost it, to was it Judgment Day or was it? No, not Judgment Day. Was it oh my God, the Vikings.
The Viking Raiders, yeah.
Viking Raiders or did they lose to New Day? It was Viking Raiders, and then I think New Day beat Viking Raiders to get the belt at like WrestleMania or something like that, or whatever. Yeah, and then they had them for like another month, and then they dropped them to the New Day, to the Judgment Day again. I was like, why?
Same
like
3 tags.
Yes, the same thing. And they should have left it with the New Day, because at the time the New Day was doing this whole thing of thank God and all that kind of stuff.
Morning.
Now, what happened was the morning part of it that came from them losing the titles was really great. That was really good. I love the whole we're in mourning. We lost our titles. They're dressed in the black, all black every week. They're in the church talking about their time is, with the belt and all that kind. So I felt like that would have been a good build up for them to have a rematch with the Judgment Day and actually have a match to win back their titles, because of all of the whole thing about them mourning. But it never came to fruition, and the Judgment Day ends up losing it to put together team like between randomly between AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, or AJ Lee in this case.
Yeah, somebody had said that in the comments. They said, wow, congrats to AJ Lee winning their tag. I said, y'all are funny for this one. But, we talked about some of the good things that happened on Monday Night Raw. Now it is truly time to talk about my man Sean. Hooking it up with NXT, baby. Sean, I'm proud of you, man. Look, honestly, I hate to say it. 10 years ago at this time, this is how I felt. Main roster from time to time probably going to let me down. But if I had any hope, if I had anything to hope in when it came to WWE, it was always going to be NXT. And that's how I'm feeling right now. I feel that same way. And honestly, start to finish, I was ecstatic. I was happy. Smile was on my face because I love how they started it off. And they started it off right. Okay, they had Tatum Paxley. Okay, and then they had, I mean, this was so good. The calling Tatum Paxley, Izzy Dane. Okay, you see Sean Spears out there. Okay, you see Nico and all them. Look, then JC Jane, Fatal Influence. Man, they was just getting us set up for Halloween Havoc. Okay, JC was calling, Tatum a weirdo, all this, that, and the third, telling her, that she can't really trust her so-called family and that they're only going to love you just right now. But when she loses, they're going to leave you. That's what she said to Tatum Paxley. Tatum said, well, it's funny because your friends are only friends when they're convenient for each other. I said, what happened? She said, what happened to the last friend? Oh, yeah, that's right. I said, damn, Tatum, way to do it. Did a little laugh. I said, okay, Tatum, I like what you're doing with this. I like where we're going with this. Okay. And then after that, JC Jane tries to initiate an attack on Izzy and Tatum Paxley. That doesn't work. Tatum and Izzy get the job done. And honestly, Fatal Influence looking crazy outside the ring. Thought this was good. Tatum looked strong. Tatum looked great. And honestly, seeing Fatal Influence, honestly, I really just like seeing Laney Reed with Fatal Influence because, again, I told y'all about that months ago it was going to happen. So this was great. But then we flash forward to seeing, man, some greatness, man, because the greatness continued. Now, this was a great match, man. Look, we had Leon Slater going up, okay, against Stacks for the X Division title. Now, this was great. Okay, you see how funny this is? You see that girl Ariana Grace out there, Javon Evans out there celebrating. She's out here pissed off, looking upset. But what I loved about it, okay, the young OJ, okay, and the youngest in charge, both of these men out here saying instead of going up against each other, they want to wrestle together. Okay, and who comes out? All right, it's them guys, man. Mr. Iguana. I love how they did this. Declared that challenge. Mr. Iguana and La Parca, man. This was so good. And I love what they did, man. Crowd popped for it. All right, they're declaring that they're going to be facing these guys at Halloween Havoc on actually tonight, which is happening tonight, 7 p.m. I can't wait for this, man. This is going to be great. So can't wait to see how that goes. Then we flash forward, man, to these guys right here. Look, I ain't gonna lie. This was fire. And I'm gonna tell you why this was fire. Because it wasn't even because of these guys. Okay. But Dark State did their thing. They talk. They said they're gonna get those titles. But the next part that was the best part was the Hardys. Okay. You see what the Hardys are at. They're at the Hardy compound, walking around the house. Okay. They had the baby Hardys there. Okay. Rebel was there. If y'all know who Rebel is, that's Matt Hardy's wife. Okay. They even had, look, they had everybody and everything in that compound. And if you know, you know. Stop playing with them. All right. They told them. Y'all want to keep playing and this, that, and the third. That this is a point to where they are pushing the Hardys of no return, pushing them to a point where they have to go into a lake. That lake of reincarnation. And if you know, when you go in there, you will come out broken. I love this. I love this. They went from the lake of reincarnation and then became Brother Nero and Broken Matt Hardy. And honestly, this gave me those rock chills, man. The rock chills, okay? This was incredible. When you talk about ultimate elation, okay, they will become obsolete. Man, this was great. I loved every single thing about this. I said, delete, 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 delete. They had the kids saying delete. Rebel was saying delete. The machine was saying delete. They even had a part where the little skeleton was just saying delete, delete, delete. Man, stop playing with them. This was great. I loved every single thing about this. You got to think about it. The Broken Hardys are the only ones that have been in AEW, WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor. They have been in every single. Stop playing with them. These guys have been in the Ultimate Universe. You can't stop the Hardys. I loved everything about this. 10 out of 10 when it comes to the Hardys. Please. We flash forward. Man. Now, this was interesting. And, oh, my God. And, and I've said this plenty of times. Anytime, if you see the GM outside in the ring and the champion's right there, 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, it's never a good thing. And it wasn't, man. Sol Ruka let us know that she is injured. She got injured on SmackDown from the match that she had with Charlotte Flair. And it was just sad, man. So, of course, you're supposed to have a match with Blake Monroe at Halloween Havoc. But that is not happening. And we are going to be seeing Zarya versus Blake Monroe for that North American title. And honestly, I loved how they played into this. Zarya, getting a whole F5 on Blake Monroe. I thought that was crazy, by the way. I was like, damn. But honestly, what we're looking at to seeing is a new champ. So regardless, we're going to be seeing somebody new. Now, that being said, if this is the case, now we can finally maybe see possibly some other superstars go for that title besides a Blake Monroe. Now maybe we can see maybe a Jada Parker or a Lash Legends. Okay. Then we flash forward to the first speed title match, the first speed match that we had, which was Jasper Troy beating Zach Wentz. And honestly, that was a good match. Okay. Honestly, again, the speed title, we are doing these and they're keeping this going, man. I think this is somewhat good. You got the 3-minute matches, fast-paced matches, a lot that happens in these matches, and these guys got a lot of offense in, defense in, and I think this isn't a bad move, but they need to do something more for these guys. I ain't gonna cap. Then we flash forward to the next speed match, which y'all got to know who this was. My man Axiom defeating Sean Legacy. And I ain't gonna lie, this was actually really good. I mean, you want to talk about ended in the last few seconds. I said, damn, Axiom, you might be the fastest man alive. And I ain't talking Barry Allen. And I ain't talking the Flash. Then we flash forward to look, OTM, okay, beating Hank and Tank. I ain't gonna, hey, look, OTM making a great return. All right, they've been out for a little minute. Jada Parker been doing her thing by herself, kind of went her own way. But OTM, them boys is back. All right, them boys is back, whooping ass. And by the way, beating Hank and Tank. I was like, hey, look, you can put Hank and Tank down. All right, they did their thing, man. Kudos to y'all. Then we flash forward to JC Jane, Laney Reed beating Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dane. Honestly, this was a great match. Honestly, I love to see Tatum Paxley in the ring, man. She's really creative when it comes to her moveset, man. But I love how it all happened. Fallon Haley being the great distraction, kind of grabbing Izzy Dane, stopping Izzy Dane from helping. JC Jane let her get that elbow right on to Tatum Paxley, dropped her for the 1-2-3. And honestly, to the point to where they start beating the hell out of Izzy Dane outside the ring. Then they try to beat the hell out of Tatum Paxley. That didn't work, though. Tatum, being the woman that she was, literally escaped out of that, got every single move she got, dropped Fallon Haley, dropped Laney Reed, dropped JC Jane, had the title, and it looked good with her. I said, man, go ahead. Tatum, this is good, man. I was proud of her. Then we flash forward to probably my favorite segment of the night. And this one is truly good. I mean, honestly, Ricky Saints, Trick Williams, Trick Hollywood, Trick Willy Wonka, Trick and A, well, formerly Trick and A, two-brand Trick, first class Trick. Okay, man, look, I ain't gonna lie. I like the promo that he cut. He said, I'm still the man. I'm still the main eventer. Crowd started saying, where's your title? I said, Jay, y'all funny for this. Y'all know, how we are with J Movie Mania. I said, man, y'all funny for saying this. Saying, where's your title? And he said, and Trick said he don't need one. But he said he's going to take that title from Ricky and be a 3-time, what was that? 3-time, looks at Booker, and then he says, What's that now? 3-time NXT champion. I said, man, look at you with the triple entendre. Bar on bar on bar. Trick, I like that. I like that. That was good. Said, yeah, Trick, that's what I'm talking about. And honestly, Ricky said, he knows he's an emotional guy, wears his heart on his sleeve. But he said, look, he told Trick, he's been that guy. He said, look, Ricky said, look, I've been through everything in the indies, and you couldn't cut it. You would have folded like the clothes you got on. I said, damn, Ricky, damn, okay. We just heading bar for bar. We just going bar for bar. That's what we're doing here. And I mean, to the point where he even said that he says Trick couldn't cut it in the indies. Trick says, do I look like somebody that's made for the indies? Do I look like somebody that should be in there? And I said, man, Trick, stop playing, bro. Stop playing. Ricky said, oh, now you before you was just trying to, you was barely trying to get a spot. Now you too big to fit in the door. He said, don't you even talk to me about being a main eventer or being a wrestler. He said, you couldn't cut it. I've been that. Do you understand me? He said, I'm NXT. I'm the guy. I said, Ricky, this is the Ricky I know. This is the Ricky I remember seeing back in 2019 in NWA. Okay. But then to the point they got fired up. Ricky and Trick get in each other's face. Trick tried to sucker punch Ricky. That ain't happen. Ricky puts Trick through the table, and this is the finish right here. Ricky. Look, man, I ain't gonna lie, bro. This is what. Okay, first of all, by the way, I gotta talk about this real quick. They have been advertising Halloween Havoc with my man Obafemi, the ruler. I have not seen this man since he has lost that title from Ricky Saints. Just want to point that out. Also, that being said, Ricky, you killed that damn promo, man. That was tough. That's the fire that I know. That's the man when I said, oh, yeah, he got it. When he was Ricky Starks back in NWA, back in AEW, I'm giving y'all history. Ricky's been like this. So don't think this is something that's just, hey, man, I know, sometimes I know how we got to educate some of our WWE viewers, because they don't be knowing some of the outside world. But it's okay if y'all watch us. This is why we inform you. We give you this information because we know sometimes y'all don't like to do the research, but we gonna give you the information because that's what we gonna do the exclusive way. But besides that, Ricky, you killed it. Trick, you killed it. Going bar for bar. Okay, and I know Booker loved to hear that when he heard Trick say that 3-time. You say 3 times, boy. Hey, that triple entendre, boy. I said, yeah, Trick, you working now. You're cooking. Another thing, Javon, Leon Slater, love what they did on NXT, man. Love to hear Javon on the headset. That was hilarious. I thought he was entertaining on there. Did his thing. Leon, of course, killing it. Love to see these two guys, man. Again, 21 years old. Okay. They're killing it right now, and they're going to keep going. This is the future that we're seeing right here. Be aware. Don't waste them. Triple H, I'm telling you, WWE, don't waste them. Guys are talents. And it's to the point now, look, there's other stuff out here. So let's do them right. Do them justice. Do them boys how you should. Okay? And we're going to talk about somebody else that looks like they might be getting a push that could be looking promising, hopefully. Maybe. I hope so. Another thing. Tatum, you're killing it, girl. I love everything they're doing with Tatum. Hey, she might win this at Halloween Havoc. I'm not even going to cap. She might have this tonight. She might be the one to get this dub. And I wouldn't even be mad about it. If anybody beat JC Jane, all right, I'm good. I'm good with Tatum. Granted, would I like to be Lash? Yes, but I'm okay with Tatum. This could really open up some doors and open up some different and new storylines. Granted, JC Jane still has plenty of people she can still face if she does retain. But if Tatum Paxley does win, you still got a lot of avenues you can go with that. But either way, I'm good with this. I loved everything they did with this. Love the return scene from OTM, beating the hell out of Hank and Tank. Keep doing your things, brothers. And of course, hey, thoughts and prayers, of course, go out to Sol Ruka, hopefully for a speedy recovery. And hey, we'll see who gets that title between Zarya and Blake Monroe. Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Yeah,
Oh, there you go.
my bad. Yeah, no, NXT as usual delivered all the way through their entire show. Like the whole Matt Jeff Hardy thing, just phenomenal. Execution of that whole vignette that they put together and shot. Just great work. And it's just good to see the Hardys being able to still have their foot in like the WWE door as well, to do things in the WWE like this, which is always exciting because we all love the Hardy Boys and respect them from their for their line of work, for what they've done throughout their careers. So that's awesome. Javon and Leon Slater, I think the excitement is there for these two guys and just how talented they are. Shout out to J Movie Mania and the Wrestling Syndicate. If you guys get the opportunity to check out that show, his first interview and first show for the Wrestling Syndicate that he posted was an interview of Von Evans and him talking about his come up through wrestling from being trained. And I want to say if I remember, Arn Anderson was the person that had the gym that he went to and started there. And really opened the door, for him, like to be able to continue to grow in his wrestling career. So great interview, by the way. Shout out to J Movie Mania. He comes on the show here from time to time. So, we love having, him pop up when he can to talk NXT with us because he's huge in that realm of wrestling down in Florida with NXT and the Performance Center, being there, starting stuff with the wrestlers as far as chants and things like that get them over. So yeah, definitely check out the Wrestling Syndicate. Check out that interview with Javon Evans. I really do think you just see a different side of him. You can see, you can see his personality in it. Great interview. But yeah, love seeing Javon Evans, him getting on the mic, sending us to commercial break doing NXT. You could just tell he's having fun. And at 21 years old, being as successful as he's been, with being able to have a WWE contract, be able to perform in front of thousands, hundreds of millions, whatever you want to say, of people. It's phenomenal. He's just having fun, which he should be, well deserved. So yeah, great for that. The highlight of the show for me, and that I just want to spend a quick second on so we can move forward, is the way that they ended the show. This contract signing or an interview between Trick Williams and Ricky Saints, Pretty Ricky, what they call him.
Smoother, silkier.
Hey, Pretty Ricky. Yeah, phenomenal work. That you want to talk about something giving you chills. That was a promo that kind of hit home as far as these two guys. It's like they were cutting a promo where you had like this feel. It was like it's like a battle of giants for like the brand of NXT. What I'm trying to say is it gave you the feel of what it used to feel like back in the day for WWE when they used to have a Rock and Stone Cold going at it, or a Rock and Triple H, or wherever these guys are battling to be number one, to carry the WWE championship. So it was always like this just feeling of like how the magnitude of how important it is to be the guy. And that's what I got from this promo here. Even though it's for NXT, it was like these two behemoths here are battling to be the guy. And there's some tension there, some real tension there, real palpable tension there. And it was great work. The emotions, the way it was sold, the way Ricky Saints, the frustration, the anger, the vitriol in his face, the smugness of Trick Williams with the whole thing of just, I'm the guy because the way I look, the way I am, how, like all of that. And you can see Yeah, you can see the dueling personalities, between the two of them, and it just gave you this feel of like this is phenomenal work between the two, and like Ricky Saint's expression, even in this, look how crazy he looked, like he is pissed, and he's like lost his composure. He's so frustrated with Trick, he went off, and I know there's something there because of he think about everything he's gone through and been through, and then you got this smug guy in Trick who just seems like he's been given everything because of how he looks and all of that type of stuff,
and how he came up.
And how he came up, and you try to downplay a pretty Ricky, what they call him, like his whole come up in wrestling and everything he's been through, and it was just great, promos between those two. The tension was there, the feel was there of like this is huge, and I just want to give them shots out, give them praise, because I thought that was a phenomenal way to end a show. Because we're getting so used to like the professional promos that are delivered from the main roster, where they don't really have this feel of like real seriousness. It's just like, you think about, and it's nothing against it, but you just think about how like Cody gives his promos. Everything is very just, what do we want to talk about, Arizona? Like it's just like I'm the champion, and we got it's not this real hard battle between two behemoths. We don't really see that anymore. When it comes to like WWE and their promos, at least on the main roster, where this is an actual rivalry. That's what I got from it. This is a rivalry, and you don't get that per se. It's more like next man up type of a feel when you talk about like a SmackDown or a Raw when it comes to championship title pictures. They could do some stuff with some rivalries because they do have that. Like if they let CM Punk and Seth Rollins go, that could probably feel more like a real strong rivalry. But then when you start adding in like an Oracle, like a Paul Heyman who's cutting most of the promo, it kind of takes away from that feel because these two guys are just face to face, fussing and cussing and all that kind of stuff. But that's what I got from this promo at the end, was just this is a rivalry, and this is a rivalry that can go for a while. And the sad thing is I haven't seen the Ruler on WWE Monday Night Raw or WWE Friday Night SmackDown, and I haven't seen him on NXT. So I'm concerned, like, what is going on with my man? I know he carried the brand at NXT for a minute, and so maybe they're giving him some well-deserved vacation time, but we need the Ruler back on television, whether it's NXT, WWE, SmackDown, or Raw, because that's my dog right there. I just need to see Oba Fear Me back on television. And so just where are you, Oba? Where is Oba? That's my boy. That's my dog right there, man. I'm still mad he lost the title.
No, I know. It's crazy because I'm feeling that. I feel that so much, man.
Yeah. Anyhow, but that's my thing on it. Ricky Saints, Trick, excellent work.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think one thing too about it, when I think about that story, I think about just, like you think about the story with Ricky Saints, man, like how he came up in the Indies. And they did tell that story, like, Trick was like, I wasn't decades in the Indies. I said, first of all, Trick, that's wild. Don't even say that like y'all ain't the same age. The man only been in the Indies for about maybe 10 years, if not 8 or 9. So relax. But I love how he did that though. It's like, you came up from the Indies and this is where you are, but I went to the PC and this is how I started. And it's just like Ricky's like pretty much saying, like, bro, if you did the Indies, you couldn't cut it out here, which I thought was so real because that is a real thing. And I've been saying that we know how WWE does. They get a lot of athletes, but you get a few that are from the Indies and from that, that might come from AEW, and they'll show you what time it is. And it's just like, dang, I like how they played into that. So that was great, man. I loved it. Sean, you killed it. You're always going to be the chef of that. But we talked about the greatness of NXT. Now it's time to talk about some interesting things with Friday Night SmackDown. Man, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. SmackDown was okay. I had a few things. This one might be quick because when it comes to SmackDown, honestly, they've had a few good episodes. This one was all right, pretty decent. A few things that kind of wowed me. All right, we kicked it off with Cody Rhodes, all right, and Jimmy Uso. All right, Jimmy, Big Jim, telling Cody, I appreciate, thanks for the help. My cousin with Jacob, man with the magic boot. Cody said, no problem. I'm about to go out there and handle some business. Cody goes out there, tries to talk out with the crowd. Tries to ask, what do you want to talk about? Drew McIntyre, the man that plays, okay? This man comes out. Love what he did. He says, you're going to blame me for attacking Jacob Fatu. You don't think this might have been Jimmy? You don't think it might be the black sheep, the one that hasn't had a title? His wife wins one and everybody else gets one but him. He's always the bridesmaid and not the bride. I said, man, Drew, you're speaking some facts here. Made me think, you know what? Probably was Big Jim. His wife did it. I wouldn't be surprised if Big Jim did it. So that's my declaration on that. But I love how they did this. And also to the point where Cody was like, at this point, let's just go ahead and fight. Let's just brawl. But got to the point to where Big Jim attacked Drew McIntyre. And now he's beating the hell out of Drew McIntyre. And that gave them a match later on that night. Then we flash forward to Drew backstage with Nick Aldis, and Big Jim attacks Drew McIntyre again. Starts to beat the hell out of it. I said, man, Big Jim's going crazy. Could not stop, would not stop, was never going to stop. Okay. Then we flash forward. Stop. Hey, you know it.
We get down, baby. We get down.
Hey. Then we flash forward, man, to... Now, this one actually was pretty fire. I ain't even going to lie. This next one right here, I wasn't even going to get, okay, was the MFTs, okay, beating, and honestly, I'm okay with them beating this team here. Ray Phoenix and Shinsuke Nakamura. You know why? Why do we have Ray Phoenix just teaming with another random? Why don't we just have Ray Phoenix teaming with his brother? And I don't get that. Anyway, love Shinsuke. Killed it. Ray Phoenix was going crazy. But again, Tama Tonga and JC Mateo beating Ray Phoenix. I can't believe I actually said JC Mateo for the first time. I'm sick of myself. Jeff Cobbs. Stop playing with him. That's the MFTs. Then we flash forward to Ilya Dragunov, man. Look, Ilya Dragunov winning that United States Championship from Sami Zayn last week. I know y'all seen it. That was crazy. Thank God somebody's got the title that can actually do something. Somebody fresh, somebody new, and is going to be declaring these championship matches opportunities. So this is going to be great. Love what he did. And of course, who answers that call? Okay, that he wants to keep this open challenge going to? Aleister Black. All right, Aleister Black's out there, and then to the point, you know what's going on. Selena Vega causing a distraction. Damian Priest starting to even out the odds, but that means nothing. Even though Ilya Dragunov does get the dub over Aleister Black, but then even after the fact, Selena and Aleister Black actually tried to attack Damian Priest to the point to where they actually did, and honestly, to the point where in the midst, Aleister Black and Zelina Vega actually escaped. I said, man, y'all are crazy for this. Then we flash forward to this match right here, man. Look, we had Tiffany Stratton going up against Kiana James. Now, this was actually a good match. The reason why, because these women both have chemistry. Actually have really good chemistry in this ring. Now, this was a good match here, but what I was starting to question as to what the hell was going on, of course, Julia beating the hell out of Tiffany Stratton. But then I said, well, what are we doing here with Tiffany? And, she's getting attacked. And, of course, Jade Cargill comes out. And I said, wow, this is what's going on to even up the odds. Are we not sick of this? And then, all of a sudden, Jade Cargill turns on Tiffany and beats the hell out of Tiffany. Now, honestly, I said, okay, I like this. And she did a very well attack and literally, crushed the knee of Tiffany Stratton. I said, my God, Jade, you're killing it with this. But to the point where she had the title. Crowd kind of booed. Some people cheered. And I thought to myself, maybe we might be late on pulling this trigger. Maybe it might be the wrong person she's turning heel on like this. Maybe this is something we should have saved for her and Bianca. And the impact of this would have been a whole lot better. But again, not bad. Then we flash forward to that man, Carmelo. Now, look, I ain't gonna lie. He said he heard the whispers. He feels the support. He thanks the support. And he's going to go back to being him. Okay? And Kit Wilson, all right, tells him that. He says he's tired of hearing that toxic masculinity from Melo and all this, that, and the third. And Melo's going to do everything he's got to do to be back to being a champion. And he's going to declare it, and he's going to do it, man. I said, I'm proud of him. So it's going to be Carmelo Hayes going up against Kit Wilson next week on SmackDown. And you know who's going to be getting that dub. It's going to be him. Then we flash forward. Go ahead, Melo. I'm proud of you, bro. I really am. Then we flash forward to this next to the main event, which was the no DQ. Drew McIntyre going up against Big Jim. And honestly, Drew McIntyre getting the dub on Big Jim. And honestly, I said, my God, man, what are we doing for my man Big Jim? But to the point where Drew McIntyre, all right, set to try to do a whole attack on Jimmy Uso. And of course, you know how it is for the quarterback. He likes to come and try to help out. And then that means nothing because what happens? Drew McIntyre hits a Claymore on Cody Rhodes. And honestly, to the point, it's just Cody and Big Jim laid out. And this is the finish right here. Yeah, man, look, I ain't gonna lie. Look, SmackDown had a few things that made me say, all right, wasn't bad. It's about time. You got it. Honestly, that being said, Jay Cargill turning heel. I guess. I mean, or mainly turning on Tiffany Stratton. Again, I feel like if you was gonna do it, should have been against Bianca. You should have did it when she came back. You could have made it seem like her and Bianca was cool. And then she turns on Bianca and beats the hell out of her. Now you got something that has an impact. That had people go like, oh, okay, that's cool. But it wasn't the same. You would have felt it more because the connection between Jade and Bianca would have been there. I don't get it. What are y'all missing here? Come on. Again, I like to see this side of Jade. Maybe she's going back to being that. I don't know what it is. AEW people, y'all know what that's from. Come on now. But yeah, not bad. I like that. Again, seeing Big Jim getting just, I don't know, man. He's not even supposed to be on SmackDown. But see, this is what happens. Big Jim, we got to get you a title. That being said, my man, Melo, love to see how he's getting his weekly shine. And I like how what he said. Look, we want to see it there. We want to see it truly be him. Keep doing your thing, brother. Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Yeah, I think you pretty much hit everything on the head. I don't think there's too much to really add to SmackDown. It was a decent show. A lot of Big Jim and Cody and of course Drew, which is fine. I think it's criminal a little bit though what has been happening with Drew because I think Drew has been very good, but he does not seem to be anywhere near near the main title picture as far as getting a push to actually have the championship again, especially with how well he's been running as a heel. Like he has been such a great heel, has been delivering some awesome promos as a heel, really spits truth on the mic. And it's just I've been enjoying Drew McIntyre and what he's been doing over the last year and a half or so. But right now it's just with WWE. I think they got so many people that everybody wants to see be champion that they don't really know which way to go. But Drew McIntyre deserves his praise for what he's been doing and the work that he's been doing. And so yeah, he's definitely been killing it. Carmelo Hayes, it's good to see this kind of breakaway and let him kind of be on his own and start to kind of do his own thing. I don't think he ever really needed somebody to kind of help him along. I think he's got it. Certain wrestlers just have it, and he's one of them. And so I'm glad to see that they're going to be giving him his push or letting him be on his own to kind of make his own name for himself. I think that's a great thing. having Ilya Dragunov back is great because Ilyanov, he's a phenomenal wrestler, in-ring talent. I've been a big fan of him since him and Walter had their match in back at NXT, and that was one of my favorite NXT matches, or at least on the list of some of my favorite NXT matches between those two.
That's some
And
NXT
so I got
UK days, man. See,
yeah, I got some serious
real
respect
one.
for Ilya, and so it's good to see him back. But yeah, overall, I thought SmackDown was good. I think the last thing I would say about it is this possible heel turn for Jade. I think is pretty cool because her character probably needed that because of where she's been as far as trying to be a face and have the crowds accept her, because we had talked about it before how they were booing her all across overseas crowds. Now she can just kind of play into that and lean right into that in this heel role. And so I'm anxious to see what she would be able to do in this new heel environment that she will be operating in. Bland, what's up, man? Thanks for checking us
What up,
out
Bland?
and supporting us as usual. It's ridiculous to continue to put him in a title match knowing he isn't going to win. They keep killing this dude. It's hard to buy into him when he doesn't have a chance. I don't know if I think he's talking about Drew McIntyre, right? Because then Drew just have a matchup with Cody and he lost. Yeah, it is. And he said Jade needs to be heel. I agree with that, and I agree with both sentiments. Because I feel like they should be saving Drew for like when it's really a chance for him to have to run with the title, especially in his heel form that he's been in. Because like I said, I'm trying to think of the next best person that's a heel that's doing it as well as
Drew.
As Drew, and it's hard. I can't. I mean, it's hard. The stuff he says on the mic.
Yeah.
You say what?
Especially in WWE, it's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, because I'm like Drew is really delivering in this format. I really can't think of anybody that is doing it better or can do it better right now. And he's really like your top heel to me as far as just all around. And so yeah, I the title matches when they do give, I never hold my breath. So I'm like, there's no way it's on SmackDown. He's not winning. He's not beating Cody on the show. On SmackDown. Yeah, like we know that's not going to happen. So I wish they would really build a story around him and where it's him seriously having a chance to actually win or take this championship. But like I said, WWE got a lot going on because in that picture, with Cody, with Jay, you got LA Knight. I'm just throwing. I mean, I know they all different, but I'm just all these different wrestlers that they have vying for the championships that. I guess Drew kind of falls out of the the picture here. It sucks because like I said, you got Braun Breaker that they're trying to build and get into that picture. So yeah, it's a lot going on with them, but Jade, I'm excited for her. I'm excited for this new opportunity. I liked that when she because she's doing her thing, raising her hand, and then a close. I'm like, ooh, are we getting a heel Jade? I'm like, this might be the right move, WWE. Y'all might be making the right move here. And so this is good. This is good for her. And then and he said, yeah, it's hard to say, man. He is leading the pack for sure. Yeah. I'm talking about Drew. Yeah, he is. Like I said, I'm trying to think of who else is heel that is doing it really well. I mean, Dirty Dom's a heel, but his heel is more baby face reaction. He's like baby face heel. He's like, yeah, it's kind of hard. I'm trying to think like who on Raw is I mean, the Vision is supposed to be heel, but I don't really get.
They're still getting baby face reactions too.
Yeah, so and I don't really get serious heel vibes from them. Like for Drew, it's the stuff that he says on the mic to people and how he brings in like real stuff, like talking about Jim, being always the bridesmaid, never the bride, how he can't win it. Like it's just stuff like that just makes him. And then how like he turns stuff like all the time on its head, like Cody Rhodes attacked me and I had to defend myself, so I put his head right through this table, right? Like it's how he does it, and it's like, well, he did attack you.
You got a point.
You got a point. I mean,
that boy be spinning it, boy.
Yeah, Drew, and that's why I say he does such a great job that I would just wish that he was somewhere in a serious title picture contention, whatever. But is just not the case right now. And I think WWE is struggling really to have a good foil, a good heel across all of their brands and platforms. LA Knight is another guy that's in Drew's position. They keep putting him in a title match. And I know, and that's why we were talking about earlier, Ian. That's why I was saying, like, I'm kind of glad in a way that he lost the Battle Royal, because I'm like, I wouldn't want him to see him go to Saturday night's main event and lose, because I'm just like, I don't know how I feel about them doing that with him. Like, he's losing sometimes and he's winning, but he's supposed to be this big player for the championship, but he really can't get on a winning streak. And I don't know. And same thing, Sami Zayn, I forgot about him. He was supposed to be, but I don't know if they're kind of backing away from that, because I don't know if the crowd's really buying into Sami Zayn being but it started off at least getting close to that SummerSlam time frame, or after SummerSlam, where they were starting to seem like they were trying to push Sami Zayn to be in this title picture. But yeah, LA Knight, I think they just need to, I think that they need to take this time to build up a nice rivalry or something between him, because it's going to be CM Punk. So him and CM Punk that gets into WrestleMania. Like, I want to see just devilish stuff. Like, I want to see LA Knight doing stuff like finding like CM Punk's like car or something like that, and just doing vandalizing or doing something there. I want to see him take something that's prized from CM. Like, I want to see stuff like that, like some just devilish things that really starts to build this feud, this rivalry. Like LA Knight popping up on AJ Lee or something. Like, I want to see stuff that just starts to really build like a nice feud, where it's like, this is getting serious. This is going to be, this is going to be, just diabolical when these two get together come WrestleMania time for a LA Knight possible victory. That's how I would see it. If you're planning on having LA Knight actually go over, but because also we keep talking about LA Knight as a heel is so good. He would be, let's try it. Like, let's start building now to something like that. But I don't know. It is what it is. And he said that's a weird law. It was that, and that's another thing. It was because the push that they were giving Sami Zayn, that we thought like they were gonna. One, he really didn't do much as the U.S. champion, as you would have thought, as you would have liked. They still don't book their champions as much and as good as you would,
and as good as they should be.
They should be doing. Yeah, they struggle with that, because he won the U.S. championship, and then you saw him defend it like twice or something like that.
Yeah,
it's not. And one was like a write-off. It was like to John Cena, like, oh, you gave me the opportunity.
And then Brock Lesnar pops up. So
so it was like, but and then he lost. So I mean, I that's the thing with WWE. They never really seem like they have a clear picture, clear future. Like, I just love maybe I'm just a sucker for like what it used to be, the old, like seeing Stone Cold come in with the milk truck and just start spraying all over the Rock, and like just stuff that you knew that they just hate each other, like the feuds when they on the bridges and they're fighting and tossing each other over the like stuff, just stuff like that, where it was like a rivalry, like it was a serious rivalry. You kind of miss that type of stuff. Like I said, that's why I love what NXT did, because I thought that the promo between them, you could just sense there was some real tension, some real like rivalry between these two. Yeah, it felt real. But I don't know. They got time. I do see CM Punk winning this title, and I just wonder how they're gonna build his next opponent.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Because
you got the Rumble, and in a few months we got Halloween Havoc Night, but in a few months we got the Rumble. Like, like who's gonna win that? Like who
better be LA Knight. They better do something. They better do something.
Hey, Knight. But
oh man, but. As always, please make sure y'all follow all of our social medias. Man, I tell y'all this all the time. Y'all know what it is. Come on, stop playing with us. Facebook, we on that. X, we on that. Instagram, we on that. TikTok, we're on that as well. And hey, we appreciate all that love and support y'all been giving us, man. Look, we're close to 200 subscribers. We're actually getting close to 500 followers on TikTok as well. So look, keep liking it up. keep subscribing, keep commenting, and you know we're gonna keep giving you that content the exclusive way. Come on, man. Y'all know what it is. But you know, we talked about some of the great things that happened with Monday Night Raw. You know, we had to talk about what happened with that man Sean, always cooking it up, being the chef. You know, with SmackDown, you know, having a few good
Best show of the week.
situations as well.
Best show of the week.
Best show.
NXT.
That gotta be always.
In the three brands, NXT was the best show.
NXT. Come on now. That's it. And we know it's probably gonna keep being like that because we know how it is right now. That's just how we going. But as always, I'm your humble host, your man, your myth, your legend, Eric Knight, and we had the one man and the only man that can check into the Heartbreak Hotel. And that's the Heartbreak Prince himself. Because we are the exclusive nights, we always ensure that we are the best there is,
best there is,
the best there was,
and the best there ever will be.
And to ensure that your nights will never
be the same.
Y'all be good.
Peace.